Don Stanley here with 3 Rhino Media with your Be a Leader video tip of the month. So last month I talked about how the #1 secret to succeeding with any type of marketing is to truly listen to your customers. Pay attention to what they're actually interested in, because when it comes to somebody searching out information, they're not looking out for you, they're looking out for themselves. Now, I get a couple of common criticisms or common complaints when it comes to people saying, all right, listening, I get it, but what do? I don't have time to listen. Or the second is I don't know how to listen. Now, the first one's pretty easy, the second one is pretty easy, because all you have to do is you really have to be conscientious of thinking before you speak when you have a customer or client engagement of any kind. So really paying attention to and asking, why is it that somebody is interested, or what is the problem that it is that they're trying to solve in their life that we might be able to help them with. But when it comes to the time thing, that's probably the biggest, most common criticism that we hear, is that, well, I just don't have the time to do it. And I think that is the biggest myth that's out there, because the reality is you're already answering all your customer and client questions. You're already listening, but you're just not doing it in a strategic way. So I'm going to give you 3 quick tips on what you can do, how you can actually go about paying attention to learning what your customers and clients want, and this will inform what you do with your content marketing strategy. So the first one is to look at your emails. So whether you're a big organization or a small organization, you are going to be getting emails from customers and potential clients. And what they're going to be doing is they're going to be asking you questions about products, about services, about different things that are of interest and of value to them. And the problem is, what happens is most organizations, what they'll do is they'll send out individual emails to each person who sends a question to them. Now, there's a couple of problems with that strategy. One, it's time consuming, because you're taking the time to answer somebody's question each and every time, even though it's the exact same question. Maybe it's phrased a little bit differently, but the reality is it's pretty much the same question. So instead of answering it once and having a lot of people be able to access that one answer, you're wasting time essentially by doing it over and over and over again. And that's a big problem, because the other thing is most people aren't going to reach out to you for help via email. The reason is they're afraid you're going to try to sell them. So what they do is they go online and they search for answers to their questions. And the customers who find businesses that provide the best answers, that are non-salesy answers to their questions, they win the most important battle online, which is the battle of trust. Because people will start to say, hey, this business gets me. This organization, they get me. And guess what? They're not trying to sell me. They're trying to help me. People do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So you need to be aware of the fact that most people aren't going to be even bothering emailing you. So if you create a list, what we do oftentimes is we tell each of the salespeople in an organization to always CC the marketing manager, or blind CC the marketing manager on any emails that they get where it's a customer asking a question along with their response. It's a really easy way to gather salespeople's perspectives that becomes content for your online marketing strategy, whether it's social media, whether it's an email newsletter, or it's something that you might put up on your website. The second thing is, you're already talking to your clients. So just when somebody talks to a client within your organization, have them jot down what the conversation was about. Most people are already doing this. They have to take notes whenever they have a meeting with a client, and they can put it into some type of system where everybody can find out where that person is in the sales process. Why wouldn't you do the same thing with the questions? What you're going to find when you do this is you're going to start to develop a database of common, frequently asked questions. And this list can be anywhere from 50 to 500. Literally, we have people who have over 800 questions answered on their websites. And those businesses that do that, all they're doing is just putting a system around answering customer questions to begin with. So really listen. When somebody asks you something, whether you're at a trade show, whether you're in a one-on-one conversation, whether you're out and about, make sure that you take the time. I personally don't like to write things out, so what I do is I just record into my phone and say, so-and-so asked this question. I'll actually, because I tend to work better at seeing it typed out, is I'll just talk my notes into my phone. Phone dictates, I dictate into the phone, and it's a simple, easy process to use. So first, you're already doing these two things, so you're already spending the time answering the questions, collect those. Now the third is very underrated because it does take time, and that's to use social media. So one of the biggest values of social media is that people share their questions, they share their concerns, they share their experiences on social media, depending on the platform that works for your audience. It might be Facebook, it might be LinkedIn, it might be Twitter, or something else. Those are the three most common, at least right now. And what they'll do is they'll share the questions that they have. And they'll ask people for advice on products, on service. They may complain about a product or service. And if 10 years ago I could have said to any of you, hey, here's what I can do for you. I can get people who are going to be brutally honest and completely honest about your product, your service, your industry, whatever you want to frame it as. And we're going to listen to them and we're going to find out what they're most interested and concerned about. People would have paid top dollar for that, because focus groups, while you can pull people into a focus group, there's a lot of concerns you have to have when it comes to focus groups in terms of the biases that can form when people are doing a focus group in person. There's a lot of different research on the downsides to using focus group. Well, social media is a live focus group that's 24/7, 365 on virtually any topic you can imagine. Why is Facebook valued at so much? I love to ask my customers and clients that. Why is Facebook valued at so much? How much did it cost you to get on it if you're using it? And the answer, unless you're advertising, is zero. So why is it so valued? It's so valued because people allow so much information about themselves to get out there that what Facebook can do is it can help advertisers target who you are and what it is that you are offering, and it can allow you to get very specific. So really what you're paying Facebook for is the market research that they do. So when you say you don't have time, I would reflect back and I would say, are you answering customer questions at all via email? Unless you're a very unsuccessful business, the answer is yes. My next question is, do you ever talk to people who are quote unquote prospects? I think of it as people you can help rather than prospects, but however you want to think of it. Are you doing that? The answer, of course, is yes. Then my next question is, do you have any framework for gathering those questions? And the answer is most often no. Then you can also use social media, whether you do it yourself, you hire a company out, whatever you want to do. The idea is these three things. This one will take a little bit of time, but these don't take any time. You're already doing it. So become more efficient. It's not how much time you put in, it's what you put into the time. So if you want to become a company that in 2015 differentiates itself from all of the competitors, you have to get in touch and have people understand that you are there to provide value for them, and the way you do that is providing answers to their questions. That's the way people search Google. That's the way people form relationships. They don't ever say, hey, I'm looking for more advertising. I would love more marketing in my life. What they say is, I would like help with the questions I have. The businesses that really embrace the idea of listening to their customers and answering their questions honestly and unbiasedly are the ones who are dominating online. So if you want to do that, you no longer have the time excuse. You know from my last video, spend time listening, and now you have some strategies for going ahead and doing that. And what I'm going to recommend you do is start collecting those questions, and in my next video, I'll give some tips on how you can transform that information you collect into useful, super valuable content for your content marketing strategies. Until next time, you have a great month.